I have felt regret my whole life over every single action I've ever done. And the most terrifying thing is that I've always felt regret over things I chose to do. Because it is miserable to tell you that we only regret things we choose, not accidents and not mistakes made in the dark. We regret decisions we understood perfectly. This also should disturb us. Because regret is not the emotion of ignorance. It's the emotion of clarity that arrived too late, or worse, arrived perfectly on time and was ignored. Think about how often we say or hear this sentence: I knew why, I knew that it was wrong, but. You knew that it was wrong. There shouldn't be a but. That sentence exists in every language, in every culture, in every generation, which means that this isn't a coincidence, it's a pattern, and patterns deserve attention, but we often don't give it enough attention. If ignorance were a real enemy, the world would look very different. It would be much more peaceful, I can call it so. We would hurt each other, indeed, but by accident. We would destroy without explanation. We would feel confused more than guilty. But that's not what we see today, because today we see only explanations, justifications, and long speeches after very short actions. We don't just act. We explain why we acted, and then we call ourselves ignorant. But if you were able to explain it in the first place, then you knew it in the first place. That is far more unsettling. That is the dangerous part about human beings. Notice this: we always have an answer to the question, why did you do it? Almost always there is an answer. Not silence, and certainly not confusion. There is an answer. If it is a lie or a truth, even if we are lying, it means that we were perfectly aware of the cruelty of our act enough to create a lie. Look at how humans cause harm. For instance, an animal doesn't defend itself in advance as we do. A storm doesn't explain itself afterward. It doesn't even exist to do it. Fire doesn't promise to do better next time. Humans prepare and they calculate and they imagine every single outcome before they even proceed. Even the guilt, I feel it before proceeding, and I still proceed. That is why I call it the most dangerous pattern in human beings. Ignorance is not what causes cruelty. Awareness does it. What's unsettling is not that we hurt each other. What's unsettling is how carefully we do it, with plans, with systems, with reasons that sound reasonable, because once we are aware of something, we make it look reasonable. Trump, for example, is not an ignorant as we used to call it, or to call him. He is perfectly aware of what he's doing, and that is why he is dangerous. We don't erase forests because we forgot they matter. We know they do. We don't exploit people because we don't see them. Of course we do. We don't start wars because we can't imagine the coast. The coast, it is us. Of course we know what the coast is. We see it and we imagine every single consequence of every single act we've ever had to do. It is ironical because we don't stop at the end. We still proceed. And then we say that it was complicated. The word complicated is one of our favorites. It allows us to avoid something much more uncomfortable, which is responsibility. For example, I can use neutrality, saying that I won't take any party in politics because it doesn't concern me. And then the next day, I would be mourning my mother who died in a hospital that wasn't occupied enough. And then the next day, I would be crying because I couldn't pay the bills. Because if something is complicated enough, no one has to carry it alone. Here is the really strange thing about us. We feel guilt before some actions, not after. That should stop us, but often it doesn't, which means that guilt is not a warning system. It's like, a negotiation. We use it with every single bad things we do. Then we like to believe that education fixes this, that if people understood more, they would do more. Maybe do more harm, but certainly not do more good. The more we understood, or the more we understand, the more we cause us harm, the more we are able to do it perfectly, with a plan, with a system. Some of the most destructive decisions in history were made by people who understood perfectly, even wars. 1914 to 1918, World War I, known as the Great War, 40 million casualties, between 11 to 22 million deaths. Soldiers were killing others to protect their loved ones, and these people were dying while trying to protect theirs. It was a pure tragic irony because we knew exactly what we were doing, and we were still mourning the actions by our own hands. We were never confused. We were always convinced of the things. Now, I am not here today to only undermine awareness, but I am here to say that the only ignorance we've ever felt is the ignorance of the fact that we are aware. We know why we act, that we don't know that we knew in the first place. And that is why we caused the match. Because this isn't just about history or leaders or systems. It's also about ordinary moments. The silence you choose before speaking, because speaking would cost you. The benefit you accept, knowing who pays for it. The distance you keep so you don't have to decide. You choose neutrality over and over again because you are perfectly aware of the consequences. Because most of the time we have criticized ignorance, not knowing that awareness is the problem in our behavior. These are no moments of ignorance. These are moments of knowing and still stepping back, or not, or deciding to stop, or to not stop. We have invented a strange moral trick. When we don't want to act, we say we are uninformed. When we don't want to choose, we'd say it's not our place to choose. When we don't want responsibility, we call it neutrality, as I've mentioned previously. But all of this, it is full of awareness. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, I've been here today to prove to all of you that once you can justify something you have done, then you were aware of it. And that is the danger of human beings. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that.